Today I'm checking out the CarTablet, a device that you can use to bring modern tech to an older car that doesn't have an infotainment system. This video is sponsored by CarTablet, so thank you to them for sending these out and for giving me a chance to review them. The CarTablet adds not only a nice and modern screen to your dashboard, but gives you a lot of functionality that you wouldn't otherwise have on older cars. And that includes things like connecting wirelessly to your phone, navigation, listening to music, talking to a voice assistant, and lots of other things. So as you can tell, these things have a lot of features, so let's check them out. Now, as you can see, I'm actually lucky enough to already have a car that has a built-in infotainment system, so this type of product wouldn't really be applicable for me. But the reason I wanted to test these out is my wife and I both used to have older cars that were built in the early thousands, and going from without an infotainment system to having an infotainment system was definitely a big shift and a very nice shift to make. So I like the idea of being able to add that functionality to an older car without actually having to replace the car, which obviously is very costly. So firstly, there are two different versions of the CarTablet. There is the CarTablet Pro, which is kind of like their baseline model, and then there's also a CarTablet Pro Max. Now obviously these devices do have their differences, but let's first talk about what they have in common. Firstly, they're both going to have wireless CarPlay or Android Auto, meaning that you can connect it wirelessly to your iPhone or to an Android phone and use the built-in auto integrations that they have. And to be honest with you, I think this is probably the best way to use the CarTablet, is using it with these integrations, because they're made by the manufacturers of the phone themselves, so they work very well. And through CarPlay or Android Auto, you have all of the other functions as well, of navigation, playing music, speaking to your voice assistant, and so forth. Now when it comes to playing music, both of these devices do also have a built-in speaker, although it is not the best quality. So you probably will want to connect it to your car's audio, and you can easily do that in a few different ways. Firstly, there is an aux cord, so if you have an aux port in your car, you just plug it in directly to the CarTablet. There is also the option to connect it via Bluetooth, so if you do have a somewhat modern car that has Bluetooth capabilities, then you can connect it wirelessly via Bluetooth. Now the third option that's going to work basically regardless of which car you have is that the CarTablets have a built-in FM transmitter, meaning that you can have it broadcast a signal that you connect to your radio to get the audio that way. This is basically just a built-in version of those little devices that you can buy separately that broadcast a radio signal to connect it to your phone via Bluetooth, but basically that's just happening through the CarTablet itself. So if you don't have an aux port, then you can do it through the radio. Both of the CarTablet models do also share an easy installation, and they give you a few ways to do it. So you can either connect it to your dashboard or to your windshield with a suction cup, or they do also provide mounts with adhesive on them. So if you have a dashboard that's flat enough, or maybe is smooth enough and doesn't have much of a texture where you can actually just adhere it straight to your dashboard, that is also an option. And any CarTablet you get connects via a 12-volt port, which is basically universal in cars, so you don't have to worry about being able to plug it in. You just plug it in directly to the car's port. What's nice about these is that they do also have a USB output as well, so you're not going to be losing functionality of that port, because they'll be able to power the CarTablet and still give you a USB port to use. Another one of the best features of the CarTablets is something you can't even really get through car manufacturers when you have a built-in infotainment system, which is sharing your screen of your phone. Both of these devices broadcast a Wi-Fi signal that you can connect to while you're in the car, which then gives you the ability to share your screen with the CarTablet. So with an iPhone, for example, you can use AirPlay to wirelessly mirror your screen onto the CarTablet. And this is a perfect use for if you have kids, for example, in the back seat that want to watch a movie while you're driving. You can have the movie pulled up on the CarTablet front and center. The CarTablets do also have an optional reverse camera, and this thing's really cool. It has built-in LEDs that light up, and it actually triggers automatically whenever you put the car into reverse and pulls up the video feed onto your CarTablet. Installation for the backup camera is really easy too. So firstly, you just adhere the camera to the back of the car wherever you want to place it. There's a very long cord that comes with it that you can use to go all the way from the back to the front of the car and then just plug it into the CarTablet directly. And you do also have to connect one cord to your taillights on the back of the car. The reason you do that is that it actually powers the camera. So when you put the car in reverse, the camera will automatically power and light up, and that actually triggers the CarTablet to pull up the live feed. So it'll automatically show you your backup camera when you're reversing. CarTablet does also have a 100-day return policy. So if you end up getting it and you're not happy with it for whatever reason, you can always return it within 100 days to get a full refund. Now, I just recently moved and I was actually able to test out the CarTablet Pro Max during the move, and I was actually in a U-Haul. So I think this is a good example of a use case for this and just kind of shows its versatility, because it was very easy to set this up. Again, you just plug it into a 12-volt adapter, and then I just had it sitting right on top of the dashboard. And just like that, I was able to use CarPlay, listen to music, and just have all of those modern functions inside of a U-Haul truck that traditionally does not have any features like that. Now let's talk about the differences between the CarTablet Pro and the CarTablet Pro Max. So firstly, talking about the CarTablet Pro, this one has a 7-inch screen, which obviously is smaller than the CarTablet Pro Max, which has a 10-inch screen. Now the design is very different as well, as I'm sure you can see. The CarTablet Pro has a more boxy design. It has a little bit of an overhang on the top, I'm assuming to maybe cover the sun a little bit when you're driving, whereas the CarTablet Pro Max looks a lot more luxurious. It kind of matches the aesthetic you'd expect to see in a more high-end car. Because it's a lot longer and even a little bit shinier, it just looks like a nicer model overall. And as I said before, both of these models can connect to a backup camera, but the Pro Max is the only one that actually has a built-in dash cam as well. And I think that this is really nice because you're getting basically a whole second functionality from a device that you might have already had on your dashboard anyway. So instead of having a CarTablet Pro plus a dash cam above it, you can just get the CarTablet Pro Max and have both built in. Now the camera quality on this isn't the best, but it definitely does suffice, and it is pretty comparable to other dash cams that I've tested. It is adjustable as well. So even if you have the Pro Max mounted onto your dashboard at a point where it can't really move, you can adjust the dash cam a little bit in every direction in order to get it pointed in the right way. Now CarTablet does also say that the Pro Max has a faster CPU. To be honest, in using both of them, I never really noticed much of a difference as far as performance goes, but that is something to consider maybe if you're using it more intensively than I am. Now, as with anything, there are downsides to certain products too, so I did want to mention, I was just kind of confused when I first set them up, because there isn't really a clear indication of what each function does. For example, the backup camera, instead of having an app called Backup Camera that you press on, you have to press on the app that says AV in. And that's just one example of it. Obviously, I was able to figure it out, and if you scroll through the screens, you do kind of get an idea of what everything is for. I just don't think that the UI is polished enough that it's very intuitive to know how to do things. You do kind of have to play with it in order to figure out how to use it best. What do you guys think of the CarTablet? Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will have affiliate links in the description if you're interested in checking it out for yourself. Otherwise, thank you very much to CarTablet for sponsoring this video, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.